Alright, this tutorial I'm going to teach you on how you can animate like a magical wand, sparkling of magical stuff coming out from the wand. So this is a sample of a wand, and I have pre-animated to save time. So you can see it's just like slowly, gracefully swinging the wand, and I have this directional light just to give a light. If not, Arnold renderer will not have any lighting and it will be dark. So something like this, right? So for that magical sprinkle and sparkle of the magic wand, we are going to use the N particles, right? The old N particles, right? So go to FX, menu sets, and then go to N particles, and we want to create emitter, right? Before that, create options. My default is cloud. I'm going to switch to point as a default, and create emitter thing, right? So I have the nucleus over here and the emitter is down here, these two, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right at the tip of the wand. Okay, make sure it's at the tip of the wand, and I can direct parent to the wand, or if your wand have a controller, you can parent constrain or constrain parent to the controller. But in this case, I just want to keep the tutorial simple. I just want to parent the emitter here to the wand itself, since I've animated the wand. All right, so make sure you start all the way from the beginning, and it's actually shifted there a little bit. Okay, being nitpicking here. All right, okay, and then I'm going to select the wand first, and then Control Shift select the emitter, and then you go to the animation menu sets, go to constrain, and choose parent, but click the option here, make sure maintain offset is checked, the checkbox is checked. So click OK, and yeah, add whatever. All right, and yeah, so basically if you select your emitter, you should see there's something in the hierarchy here, which is the chain icon here, which is the constraint icon, and you should see in your channel box your translate and rotate transformation is blue color, which means it's being controlled by this guy over here, the wand. Okay, you can also see it in the attribute editor basically here. Right, let's go to the N particle shapes. Let's play and see what we got so far. Right, so before that, I want to change to 25. This one I just use the real-time 25 times 1 frame rate, and there you go. You see that the magic happens. Okay, and then after that, what you do is if you look carefully, that the sparkling magical particles start to comes out even before the wand start moving, because the wand starts moving at frame 10. You can see the keyframe here, no, actually frame 15. So we want to time it better so that the sprinkle comes out maybe 2 frames before it moves, right? So how to do that is we go to this I already named this as a sparkle 2 emitter, or I can just rename this as sparkle emitter underscore okay. All right. Okay, so now we select the emitter and we go to the count. Wait, not count actually. No, I'm sure I'm seeing the wrong tab. The emitter here. Okay, right. So you want to go to this tab, which is the sparkle emitter or whatever you name it, and open the basic emitter attributes. So how it is, the particle is being shoot out is using the Omni. Omni should be fine. Okay, or if you want something more wider, you can change to volume. That will really be super huge. If that's what you want, then go ahead and use that, but I'm going to stick with the Omni. Okay, so it's more like a fairy dust kind of thing. All right. Right now the amount of particle you see is based on the rate particle per second, which is 100 particles are coming out in 1 second. If you want to increase more, you can go ahead and put more. Like if you put 600, you will see a lot of particles. There you go. All right. But we want to animate this, right? So first we want to go to frame 10 and we want to right click on this and add a set key, and here we will put 0, so which means at the beginning nothing is coming out, right? Only after frame 15 then it will start to churn. Just go about 200 should be enough, right? We don't need that much. Okay, something like that. Right, so basically see it started nicely, and okay, and if you want to turn it off, for example, once it reaches down here and then let's say you want to turn it off, you can put 0 and just reverse it a little bit back just to have a smooth transition, not to abruptly go all the way to 0. Give about 5 frames like that, and then this one you maintain 200. So at first it was 0, 200, stays until 200, and then it becomes 0 again. So it stopped emitting the emitter, I mean the particles. There you go, magic happens. Alright, so that's done. I think there's nothing else to do here. Let's go to the particle itself, right? To the end particle 1. Okay, in the end particle 1, the count is already fixed, so no need to touch that. Let's take a look at the animation again, and you see that the particle lasts very long. Like it's still alive until down there. What if like we don't want to set it to, we don't want to set each particle to live forever, right? So we can set a limit. So here where we go to the lifespan, and then we switch from live forever to constant, or you can have like random range, but I think a constant will be okay here. So let's zoom out a bit and just play. There you go. If this is the amount of life cycle, life of the particle you want, go ahead. The longer you make it live, the longer the trail will be. So maybe I put 1.2, just slightly longer. Okay, or maybe, oh yeah, why not 1.5, right? Okay, something like that. All right, so life has been set. Let's close this back. Particle size at this moment, you're not seeing it. It doesn't matter. It's gonna undo that. We'll come back to this later on. Okay, we close this. We want to change the shape of the particles. Right now it's just points, So all you see is dot. Let's see if I render this, if I can see it in the render or not. Actually, there is a slight small points there, right? Okay, but that's not what we want. So what we want is it to look like a star, you know. So how to make that? We have to go down to shading. In the shading section, you open, you change the particle render type from points, this one, to a sprite. So a sprite is basically like a bunch of 2D flat planes that represents each particles. Okay, so and then from there you can actually add a texture like a star on that plane with opacity. That's the plan. Okay, so I select the particles. Let's see. Yeah, at this point that's it. We just turn it on, sprites, and we do have a sprite attribute here that we can play, but we don't have to play now, right? That's the other things. Color, incandescent. Okay, so the thing about the end particle, since it's a bit quite old, it's almost considered as a legacy effects, right, in Maya, because now Maya have a new one which is called the Bifrost, right? So which is this one here. It's more complex. So basically this is considered as legacy, and Arnold renderer actually is not like fully compatible with the legacy, but it works better with the Bifrost, since Bifrost is new, and Arnold is just been around inside 3D Max I think about 2020, like 5 years if I'm not mistaken. So you can tell that you know, it doesn't fully support the end particles you know, entirely. So what we need to do here is if I render this out, you will just see some weird thing here, right? Okay, so it's a weird thing here. So what we need to do is we need to assign a material to this plane, and using the Arnold standard AI standard surface. Okay, so I'm going to create a texture for this first using the hypershade. Okay, I actually have this already, but I'm going to delete it just to be fair. So we start all over again. All right. Okay, so how to start is you go to the shader, Arnold shader here, open surface, and then you see the AI standard surface. Click that. This is it. This is the material, and then you go to, you can rename it. So this will be like sparkle material. Okay, now to assign, you can just drag and drop, I guess, maybe not. So select the material, select the end particles, select the end particle, and then right click here and assign material. Okay, so to test whether it works or not, just change the color. Yeah, it works. It is connected. You do not connect the material to the emitter, you connect the material to the end particles. Okay, that note. Okay, now that we know it's connected, let's graph network this just to see it in here. Just click and hold your left mouse button and go choose graph network. Okay, now let's change something here. This one we just leave it back to white. Right, so here what we're going to do is we're going to apply I've already prepared a material, yeah, this one here in my default Maya project folder. This is just a black and white image. quite low res a bit, but if you can get a high resolution, better. So this is about 800 by 800 pixels. What we'll do is this will be the transparency texture map. So the black will be transparent, the white will be opaque, right? So let's apply that. Okay, where we need to apply that is at the opacity. Okay, so where to get that in this menu here is you go to the geometry and then you see opacity, right? So we click this slot, is a cutout opacity, and then we choose the file node. Okay, so it's already linked the color to opacity, and in this node of file node we can choose the file. So it's already goes straight to my default source images where the texture should be, and then click star map and then open. Okay, so you can see now, actually might not be able to see it here. So if I render this, let's take a look. There you go. You will see that a lot of this sparkling material, right? Texture. Okay, nice. We can't see it here. Maybe we have to turn on texture. Maybe, not sure. It still doesn't work. Let's play that and see. Okay, just can't get it in the view. All right. So this is I think one of the problem about is not really properly supporting it. So in the render you will actually see it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, so once we have this, right, and let's make this like a yellowish color, you know, like a star. So we select this, and then we want to go and apply under emission. Emission basically makes the whole material what do you call it, like light up by itself, like self-illuminate or incandescent, right? So if I put the value all the way to 1, of course everything will be bright like this, right? So yeah, and we want to change the color here so that we have it on yellow, and when we render we will see it in the sparkly yellow. All right, that gets the job done. If you turn on the alpha channel, there is transparency here if you want to do some compositing. All right, render this in a PNG sequence or TGA with alpha channel. All right, so that's done on the material actually. Okay, so we can turn this off, right? Turn this off, but definitely you're not seeing it here. We just want to have a, you know, touch it up a bit, make it nicer in terms of the scale, because everything is like the same scale. So we're going to go back to that scale, remember just now that I mentioned. Let's go to the end particles. We're going to go back to the, where is that, particle size, right? So here is where we're going to play a little bit on the graph here. So we click this one here, and then you open a bigger version, or if not you can just play with a smaller one. Here what we're going to do is this is basically, if I add a point here and if I make this smaller, see, you won't see that happening here because of the poor unsupporting, I don't know why. Okay, but you have to render, so I'm just going to keep this render on, so you will see that change or not, I'm not sure. So let's try that. Okay, it might not apply, I think. Oh, okay, so it's a really poor support for for these n particles. Sprite, it has some problem. I can't control the make this n is smaller, things like that. Let's try something else. In terms of scaling, there's a bit of limitation here for the sprite. You can, if you want to control, it's just one absolute scale that you have to go here in the opacity. Just turn off the shading. You have to go to the sprite attribute, and here is where you can actually set some. This one doesn't make, not really useful. This one here. This is if you want to make the sparkle more smaller, you can put a lower number. Okay, 0.6. Then 0.6. So now I got a more smaller sparkles. All right. If you want bigger, just add bigger values on the x and y because it's just 2D plane. Yep. So I guess the best for this one, I'm going to put about 0.5 to 0.5. Okay, make it have smaller particles, and might want to increase. Yeah, no, I think it should be fine. So yeah, that's how you basically create the magical sprinkly wand, right? So you'll only be able to see it properly when you do the rendering. And if you render the particles separately in compositing stage in After Effects, maybe, where you can add like glow and stuff like that, you know, you can further enhance the sparkling effect, like using a glow plugins and stuff like that. Okay, so yep, this is how you can just do a simple magical wand sparkly effects. Yeah, so once you're done, before you let's say you're done animating and you want to render, you do need to pre-cache this. If not, every time you play, it will just play process in real time. So you want to cache this out. Okay, so how to cache that particle? Select the n particle here, go to cache, the cache, sorry, not this one, fx, go to the n cache, and then choose create a new cache and n object. So when you create that, see now it's going through very fast one in the timeline, saving all the simulation of the particle inside your hard disk, and when you play, it's going to be smooth. And you can even see I can scrub the timeline here very fast, very quickly to see how it plays. Then this is where you can render this this animation here. It went crazy a little bit here at this point. Why? Sometimes it does that. Yeah, sometimes my Maya go a bit crazy like this. Could be a bug. But oh, okay, now it's done. All right, whatever. So that's it. Oh yeah, one thing to add on is if you want to delete, let's say you have done the simulation, you have cached the simulation, and let's say you want to do some changes, you can basically you need to delete, go to n cache, delete the cache first. Oh wait, you have to select the n particle and then go to n cache and delete the cache, so that it is now you have to like simulate back again, and then basically yeah, that's it. That's something that I forgot to add just now. Just don't forget to, you know, delete the cache before you want to resimulate and cache again, right? So if you try to cache again, for example, select the n particles and then you go to cache, and then it will ask you. Obviously it doesn't ask you. Okay, sometimes it asks you like there is a previous one, then if you want to replace it, you can also do that. So for example, now if I try again, you can just replace as well, right? Just replace it, so it will simulate again. Yeah, If you want to delete it, just go ahead and delete it. Okay, that's all.